Hello and welcome to episode 62 of the Talk Nintendo podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Casey Gibson, and joining me this fine evening, and a little under the weather, the one and only Perry Burkham.
Do I hear jingle bells?
Jingle bells, jingle, Jimmy all the way.
Jimmy bells. Do
Jimmy
I hear
bells.
Jimmy bells?
Oh, that's awesome.
What better way to get into the Christmas season than Resident Evil?
Ooh-wee, yes, that'll bring you some joy and cheer on these dreary winter days.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense for, like Halloween.
Yeah, who plays scary
or
games on
Thanksgiving.
Halloween?
No, it's definitely a Christmas game.
It's like Die Hard,
Yeah.
It's like a Christmas thing.
Fun fact, never seen Die Hard or Die Hard 2.
Fun fact, I had never seen Die Hard until Hurricane Sandy hit. And we were without power for like 12 days, and it was miserable. But my computer, my laptop was really crappy, but it would hold a charge for about 2 to 2.5 hours. So every day when I'd go to work, I'd charge that sucker up, and then I'd come home, and for some reason, the Die Hard movies were the movie of choice, so I ended up watching a bunch of those over the course of the week.
Oh, man. Interesting. Yeah, I remember I really liked the fourth one, but I've never seen the original three.
That's so funny that... Just jumping right on into the fourth one.
Yeah, I liked it too. I need to watch them. Maybe Christmas season, after I'm done playing Resident Evil.
Yeah, we actually just before recording, we watched Santa Claus with the one and only Tim Allen. Yes.
Oh heck yeah,
Dude, I tell you what, I am a big Tim Allen fan.
Me too. I've always loved Tim Allen. I love
Tim the
Home
Tool
Improvement. Man. Oh heck yeah, he's hilarious.
Let me ask you a question. Did you know he got caught smuggling drugs?
Yes.
Isn't that crazy? And then he turned himself around. What a man.
Yeah. He's awesome. Tim,
yeah,
he's hilarious.
And he's still doing it today. I think I just saw an advertisement for some other movie he's in, and it's like, good old Tim Allen.
Good old Tim Allen.
Doing God's work.
I remember I saw a medley or whatever you call it. Not medley. A thing of all of the times.
Oh, like the montage?
Montage of all the times that they grunt in Home Improvement. And it's like it makes them all like look like they're cavemen. After a while it's like brainwashing, and it's hilarious.
Well, it's funny in Santa Claus. I don't know when Home Improvement aired and when Santa Claus came out. I think Santa Claus was 95 or 96.
Yeah, it was during.
Okay, yeah, because there was definitely a nod at one point when he went into the workshop and he picked up the tool belt, and then one of the ho-ho-hos was like a combination like ho-ho-ho?
Yeah.
Good old Timmy.
Yeah, that's kind of his thing. And like in his new show, Last Man Standing, they're like, you should be Santa Claus. And he's like, me? Santa Claus? Or something like that. So there you go.
The Tim Allen universe.
Yeah, good old Tim Allen. But we have a lot of games to talk about. Like we said, we're going to talk Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 that came out on Switch. Ooh. Casey and I reviewed those couple of games.
Yes, we sure did, and
they're good games.
I'm looking at all the games you're going to be talking about, and I think you reviewed all of them but one, right? Stick it to the man, which is I believe what you're going to start out with.
I pushed my soul in a deep dark hole, and then I followed it in. I watched myself crawling out as I was crawling in.
Yeah, and it's just going to be a quick recap. I mean, we had the interview last week with Zoink that someone wasn't a part of.
I know. Thank you, David.
Yep, but David Lloyd stepped in, as he always does.
I tell you what, I was just happy that when I called you on Skype that you answered and and you and David didn't run off and start a podcast without me. I was
Yeah.
a little worried.
You should have been.
Get replaced.
Yep. But yeah, that's a great little discussion we had. If you didn't check that out, that's what. If you're like, what the heck is this on my podcast feed? That's what that is. And but yeah, I've been playing the game a lot more. It's such a great game, and it really looks so gorgeous. I can't help but say how good it looks on Switch. It's a better port than the Wii U version. It just looks better. It runs really nice, and it's just a solid game. And yeah, I mean it's a puzzle. It's an adventure puzzler game. They call it a puzzler, but really it's an adventure game. But it's just packed with so much character that it's just insane. Like it's
Now,
so.
This was originally
funny.
released for PC, right?
Oh, I'm not. Probably, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because it didn't come to, yeah, like you said, it was a port to Wii U, right? And then now
Yeah.
ported here. Okay.
Yeah. But and we talked about that. Yeah, this is actually they're self-publishing. They were working with Ripstone before, like on the Wii U, but this is I think their first self-published game on the Switch. So which is really cool.
No,
And,
that's awesome. It's always nice
yeah.
to see, small indie devs sort of build up to the point where they start publishing, and just to sort of gives you an idea, like, okay, they're doing all right if they could start, getting into the publishing game as well as the development game.
Totally. And we also talked about we didn't get to talk about Flipping Death, which is funny because who'd have thought that we'd have Zoink on and we wouldn't talk about Flipping Death really. But we did talk a little of the FIA of that game that's coming out actually before Flipping Death next year, which is interesting. And they said it's probably not going to be before PAX, probably like right after or some place near then. So, yeah,
I
I'm
bet
really
you
looking
will be
forward
able to
that
play it
game
at
too.
PAX.
Oh yeah, it'll be great. And that game looks sweet. If you don't know what it is, it looks kind of like it's a 3D platformer, and the art style is amazing. It's not like the Zoink style. It's like a whole new different.
Yeah, well,
I
I was gonna say that I really love. I haven't played Stick It to the Man, but I love the art style they do work with. So it's interesting
so
that you
good.
said this game sort of branches out from that.
Oh, it's completely different. And that's why I was so confused when I saw the game, because I was like, Zoink? And then it's like EA is publishing, because they're like the first, there's like this little thing that EA is doing where they're publishing like indie games. And they're like the first one, so.
I wonder how many No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, I know. I think I made a joke about that too. I think I said like something like that.
Run away from EA.
The only
as
thing
fast
that
as you
EA
can.
did was they put in loot boxes into the game, or something like that. But
The only
anyway,
way to beat the game.
yeah. As for Stick It to the Man, honestly, if you're a fan of adventure games and humor in general, it's a great game and don't miss it. So that's really all I have to say about it. It's really great. I'm really glad I got to interview them. So
No, that was awesome. They were super nice at PAX, so I was.
yep,
I was
same
glad.
people.
Yeah, no, I was excited to, what I thought, be able to talk to them as well. But I'm glad David was able to join the call.
Yeah, what happened was that they're based in Sweden, so their times are like really hard to, and it's just luckily I could do it in the morning, but this Jimmy over here has a job.
I know, I should have probably just quit. Just straight up, like I'm doing it for the podcast.
Yep. It wouldn't surprise me, Jim.
Now I've
Just
got
kidding.
another
It
little
surprised
game.
me.
Trust me, I would love to quit my job. But that being said, I've got a game that, I don't have too much to talk about because we have talked about it in the past. But it's really the only the second, probably the real second time I've actually played Jackbox Party Pack. This is the first one, and I actually brought my Switch along with me to Thanksgiving, and it went over very well.
Now, were you just playing on the screen, handheld? Or
No, I brought the dock
You
and everything.
brought the
and
dang old
set
dock?
Set the dang
Good.
old dock up.
Good.
And it was nice and easy because, we don't have, like, a crazy huge Thanksgiving dinner. Maybe, like, 12 people, give or take. So,
Man.
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, like 40.
Yeah, no, so it's not like a huge, crazy gathering, but enough where usually my cousins want to bust out some board games. So that's why I was like, oh, perfect, I'll just bring the Switch, and, we could play some Jackbox. And we did just that. We played 4 of the 5 games. We played You Don't Know Jack, which is, like sort of the game show. But that's where
it all started from.
That game only allows 4 players, so we only played that once. We played Drawful once, which was all right, but like we had like my dad actually doesn't even own a smartphone. He sells a flip phone, so he was using like my grandma's phone, and it's like he didn't know how to use that, and it's just like, oh god, it's so funny too because my dad is like a truck driver, so he drives overnight. He works.
Truck?
Yes. Yeah, he is a truck. So one night his truck broke down. He had to walk like 5 miles to find like a phone.
Oh no.
So that was like the point in time when he finally got a cell phone. And
right.
Then all of a sudden he's on that thing more than anyone, texting his friends and pictures and stuff. I'm like the day he gets an iPhone or like a smartphone in general, it's going to be one of those ones where he's resistant to get it, but once he gets it, he's going to freaking love that thing.
Oh, yeah. iPhone 10 or X.
Boo. I'm never buying another iPhone again, dude.
Why is that?
Because I hate Apple. Sick of
Why?
Ugh, just dongles and crap doesn't work when I update it, and I'm just sick of it. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But the 2 games that we did really play a lot of were... First and foremost, I'm sure many could have guessed, Fibbage is a great party game, and...
Oh, yeah, Fibbage is probably my favorite one out of the bunch.
Yeah, I think so, too, and that game gets up to 8 people, so we actually filled it up with 8 people.
Woo!
So it was really fun to have everyone playing it, and, my aunts were loving it, my mom was having a blast. It was just fun to, like, really get to experience it with, like, people who didn't know about it, and it just worked out perfectly,
Yeah.
And then
it's the magic of Jackbox.
I tell you what, little game is actually, it's not a super crazy game, but just Lie Swatter, which is pretty much just a true or false game. And, it's nothing crazy about it, but it was good because the rounds were super quick, you know what I mean? You could play a game in just a matter of probably like 5 minutes, So we were able to sort of rapid fire a bunch of those out. And of course, like the questions are so goofy and you're like, no, there's no way that could be true. And, that has to be true. And then you're completely wrong. So,
yeah, that's the game that we all hated when we played it. But it just because I could see where it'll change depending on the company you have. But it was just like, okay, this is just a random game because...
Yeah, true or false.
You just can't tell. Yeah. It is, but it's like even then you don't even really have a hint. And
yeah, no, it like I said, I think what we liked about it most was it was sort of towards the end of the night and everything was gearing down, so it was just able to be like, okay, we could bang out a couple of these games before we go, where Fibbage is a little bit more of a time constraint, Not that it necessarily lasts for forever each game, but like I said, I think just the appeal of Lie Swatter was just how fast you could get through a game.
Yeah. I would really recommend, if you ever, hanging out with family like that on another occasion, Use Your Words is really good. And it's funny because we actually played Use Your Words and then we went and played Jackbox and everyone was like, no, let's go back to Use Your Words. Like they really liked that. So, yeah.
I wish there were more cases where I was around that many people who wanted to play those games, to make it worthwhile. But I tell you what,
why not at work, Case?
Yes, because I don't like anyone I work with.
Become friends with them.
No, there's no one in my car underneath my blanket.
Well, there's your problem.
No, but I tell you what, I'll definitely be busting it out at Christmas time. So who knows?
Hey, Caleb,
maybe I'll pick up one of the other Jackbox
and get under the blanket and play some Fibbage.
Yeah, they'll be like, Casey was fired from his job for sexual harassment when he asked his coworkers to join him under his blanket to play with his Switch.
Anyway.
Now, this next
Yeah,
game you've got here is a mouthful.
It's incredible. It's yeah.
How long
It's,
were you practicing saying that?
I just thought about it. I just thought of it right when
I was going to say.
Yeah. Uurnog Uurnlimited.
Uurnlimited.
Uurnlimited, yeah. Is that what I said?
It sounded like you said unlimited.
Maybe I did. Anyway, Uurnlimited, yeah. So this is this weird game.
It sounds
very interesting. Published by Raw Fury. So I was like, okay, Raw Fury. They've brought us Goner. They've brought us Kingdom. 2 of my favorite games like ever. Especially this year. So I was like, yeah, I'll give this a try. So I signed up for the review. I played it, and it's quite the interesting game. It's a kind of like the best way to put it, like it plays kind of like Super Mario Bros. 2, where you jump on enemies and items and you lift them above your head, and then you're carrying them.
All right, interesting.
Yeah.
Is this like a platformer?
Yeah, it's a side-scrolling platformer. And it's basically like you're in this main hub, and all these doors are around you in this big room, and they have locks, and you have to go find, you start with one lock, and then you can go through a door, and that goes to a whole different section, and then you try to find keys and stuff to go back to unlock more doors in that main hub room. And then what you're trying to do is gather one of each animal that's in this world and put it in this machine that's in the main room, and that's the whole point of the game. And so it's more of a puzzle game. I mean, it's played with a 2D side-scrolling platforming, but really it's like a puzzling game where you're trying to figure out what items you need for these sections, how to get to these places, and it's a lot of exploration. It's like, well, I don't know how to get this now, so I'll just keep on trucking, and and then come back to it when I know when I can. So it's like an open world type game,
Now, the enemies that you jump on their heads to dispose of, right, you said? Or is that for items and keys and stuff?
So it's weird because there'll be enemies that are walking around that shoot little bullet things, little flames, whatever. And if you get hit twice, you're dead. And when you die, you lose all of the money that you have. So it's really painful. So one of the main things, I'll talk about the enemies in a second, but one of the main gimmicks of the game is there's teleporters, and you find gems hanging around. Now, if you grab a gem and then hit B to use it, then it puts it in your money supply. But you can take it to the teleporter, send it back to the teleporter, and then use it when you need it. That way, when you die, you won't lose it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, so it almost seems like saving them for later is probably the better option.
Yeah, and so you can also teleport back with that too. So, but yeah, so the enemies will be you lift them up, and then suddenly I'm holding this little bug guy that shoots above me, and I can use him as a weapon now. So I'm just holding him, and he,
Oh, that's sort of cool. I like that.
Yeah. So, and then you put them and you actually have 4 slots of supplies that's mapped to the D-pad, so you can put 4 any object you can put in this slot, and then so you can carry 5 things basically if you have one in each slot, and then you're holding one above your head. But the thing is there are 2 different kinds of doors. There's doors that are 2 blocks tall that fits your body perfectly, and then there's doors that are 3 blocks tall, meaning you can carry stuff in there or out. So a lot of times you'll get into a room and it's actually they're cursed, and what that means is you can't put stuff into your supply, but you can take them out. You can take them out of your supply, so you can bring out weapons in to use in the room, but then you can't put them back in. So you might have to just discard them there, or try to find a way.
Make them consumable items instead of just.
Yeah, and then or you're just gonna have to find a door that's 3 blocks tall that you can bring it back out with. So That's part of it. So it's just a big puzzle game. It's not anything groundbreaking, but it does have a really wacky neon style to it. You know, all the characters are really weird. It's interesting because it's like it looks like it's a pixel game, but it's not made with pixels. It's the weirdest thing. Like you look at it and it's like, okay, that reminds me of a sprite-based game, but there's no sprites. Like there's no pixel-based things. I mean, there's blocks. Like there's squares, you know.
Yeah, but they're not
like,
actually pixel.
The designs, yeah. So, very cool though. I mean, very very interesting, or interesting.
Now, let me ask you a question. You say this is like more of a puzzle game. Now, what would you say the split is between puzzle and action? Now, obviously, you said there's enemies, and you could pick them up and sort of use them as enemies to hit other enemies, or as weapons to hit other enemies, I should say. But would you say that, you know, the combat...
I'd say it's 90% puzzle, 10%.
Okay, so the combat's really just sort of...
It's a small thing,
just sort of a small hurdle along the way.
It's more like exploding walls, you know, to get to places and stuff like that. So you're not really fighting things, and it's never really a big issue. Yeah, the fighting isn't a big part of it. The combat isn't, so...
Okay, cool. Now, are these puzzles, do they get difficult? Or is it, you know, like as you go on, they get more complex?
I mean, yeah. And a lot of times, you know, a big part of it is like, well, I don't have exactly what I need now, so I'll remember what I need and come back later. You know, and then having even the right combination of items inside of like a dungeon type place. You know, like you'll find birds that you can use to fly, and you can jump up, and then you can use them to basically fly upwards, and you'll need them, you know. But then, so there's a lot of platforming too, like a lot of like that kind of puzzling too. So, yeah. All
right. I mean, that sounds pretty cool, but nothing groundbreaking. You said?
No, it's not anything you haven't seen before. You're just carrying stuff around and trying to find animals and grab them and sticking them in a machine, just like everyday life, you know.
Just the daily grind.
Yeah. But so that's Uurnog Uurnlimited. I believe it's $14.99 or something like that. $12.99. I'm not sure. I'm not dang old sure.
Well, maybe you should have been sure, you Jimmy. You
doesn't show up on my thing.
I'm looking. It's $14.99.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
There you have it.
Cool. Well, I know you've been reviewing some games too. You got 2 of them to talk about this week, and one of them is a game I've heard really good things about.
Yes, and also has a name I don't really know how to pronounce, or at least one portion of it, and that is Aces of Luftwaffe Squadron.
Are you doing a video review?
No, just because I can't pronounce a name, I decided not to. I was like, nope.
Dude, one of my biggest pet peeves is that never, ever make a game that you cannot pronounce. Uurnog Uurnlimited is funny, but you can still see it and pronounce it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, like, when you look at that Luftwaffe, like, is that something you would not have any idea how to pronounce?
That's how I would pronounce it, but it you know. Yeah, it's a weird word.
Anyway, yes, weird word, and I guess maybe not the greatest of titles, but actually a pretty great game. This is a shoot 'em up in the vertical style, so you'll be, you know, working your way up the screen as enemies sort of flood in. And what's I think the best part about this game is how it sort of blends the classic feel of a vertical shoot 'em up with some more modern conventions and ideas that you might see more present day games. So essentially there are 5 missions, each with like 5 sub-missions within them. So, you know, you go through the levels, and like I said, it's pretty pretty faithful to the shoot 'em up genre. So it's just a lot of getting power-ups and taking enemies down. It is a squadron of 4, so when you play solo, you'll have your main pilot, and then to his left, right, and behind, there'll be 3 more pilots, and they actually sort of just mirror your moves. So when you're playing single player, it almost feels like one huge ship, because they all have firepower, you know what I mean? And they're pretty tight together. Now, you can lose some of your AI co-pilots, that's the word I'm looking for, and they'll be out of the battle for a short while, but they will respawn and come back. And what's really satisfying is that the power-ups in this game just feel so good. So as you're going through, it's pretty standard, like I said, with other shoot-em-ups. You just kill enemies and random power-ups will drop. You go gather them up and you continue to get stronger. Now, unlike, classic shoot-em-ups where you'll die and then you'll sort of go back to that being really underpowered and you'll have to start gathering power-ups again, this you actually keep all of your power-ups, but you only have, I think depending on the difficulty, there's a normal, hard, and an extreme difficulty, and I think it's 4, 3, and 2 lives respectively. So, you can die, and you're not going to lose all your power-ups and sort of be behind the 8 ball where you can't really push forward, So I think that's a good thing, because it just seems like a very archaic design choice, to eat quarters back in the day and make people, sort of have to restart the game. So I like that they don't completely get rid of that. Now, what is cool and sort of makes it more modern is that you get a skill tree for each of your pilots. Now, as you play through, you get these tokens, and they'll be rewarded for killing certain enemies or just completing the mission. And you can use these tokens to upgrade each of your pilots and give them different abilities. So early on the tree, you'll see power-ups that are sort of maybe, it'll increase this pilot's rate of fire, or it'll increase their damage by 5%. And, those are obviously really good things, but as you continue to put tokens into the skill tree and work your way down, you can get some really cool things. Like the one pilot, she can actually heal you and your other co-pilots. There's one where it just triggers power-ups to drop more frequently, and then ultimately to the point where you can actually just call them in on a cooldown. So you could be like, give me a power-up, then you got to wait 30 seconds, and then you can keep spamming that every 30 seconds and continue to power up.
Cool.
And it's just really cool and fun to sort of mix and match, because one of the really cool abilities is like it triggers a slowdown where all the enemies, obviously they don't come to a complete stop, but everything moves very slowly, so it makes navigating through a very crowded battlefield much easier. And it was just really fun to continue to earn tokens and just sort of dive into that skill tree and play and mix and match with each of the different pilots' abilities to sort of tailor the game, the gameplay to how you want it to be, with the different power-ups, which I thought was really, really great.
Totally.
Now, what's also really cool is this game is fully voice acted, and like the production value, I mean, the graphics and the visuals are very nice. I'd say they're sort of plain but in a good way. I'm trying to say, it's like you're not going to look at this game and be like, oh my god, it's the most visually stunning game I've ever seen, But but I feel like the art direction matches what it's trying to do. It's goofy. The characters are really goofy. They're always bickering between each other, and like they, obviously each have their distinct personalities. And what's really funny actually is that each character sort of has like their own quirk that'll randomly come up in battle and sort of take them temporarily out of the battle. For instance, the one pilot, she's afraid of heights, ironically enough. So sometimes like the battle will be like, oh, we need to pull up altitude, like there's too much stuff going down here, or there's an enemy up higher, and she'll be like, oh, like I can't go up that high, guys, I'm sorry, and she like backs away, and then it's just you and your other 2 pilots.
Okay.
The one pilot actually just falls asleep at the wheel, like just the middle of combat, just falls asleep, and his plane just sort of starts drifting, and you sort of need to protect him to make sure he doesn't take too much damage. So it's just really weird and strange, but like I think it works well. Like I said, I mean, pretty much the story of the game is like as World War II is coming to an end, the Germans set an assault on American soil with the aces of Luftwaffe. And, there are a number of highly skilled enemies, you know what I mean? So that's each mission is sort of going to take out one of these aces and sort of your way there. So it's, a World War II going after Krauts, but then it's very lighthearted and goofy at the same time. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah, so I think it plays really well. When you bump up the difficulty, it gets really, really tough, especially later levels where some of the... Well, actually, I should say what I do love about the level design of the game is that they vary it up quite a bit between missions, where one mission might be very bullet hellish, where it's like there are just going to be an unbelievable amount of enemies and bullets flying your way, and I'm going to need to navigate between these bullets and sort of play defense, you know what I mean? Like try and take out as much as I can, but make sure I live. And then other missions the enemies are more scarce, and it's more, here comes this really big plane that has 10 different little targets on it that I need to blow up to end it, you know what I mean? So I felt like they varied up between missions enough that it felt fresh the entire time. And each mission actually has like a side quest or a side objective, where it'll be like, we need to drop supplies to our troops on the ground. Hit 10 crate drops, and as you're going through the level, you'll see like a little, something on the screen that sort of indicates like, hey, this is where you want to go drop it. So you got to go over there and sort of hover over that area for a short period of time in order to drop it. And that sounds easy, but when things are getting really hectic, it becomes a challenge. Like, do I want to risk going over there and dropping that and trying to work towards the bonus mission, or do I want to just concentrate on what, my task at hand? So I think it does enough between levels to keep it fresh, and adding the side missions, I think, really help to just make the levels fun and things to do other than just completely dodging or blowing up enemies.
Cool. So that's Aces of Luftwaffe Squadron.
Yeah, Squadron. Yeah, no, cool. Very fun game. If you like shoot 'em ups, I'd highly recommend it.
I mean, you kind of just played through Rive, which is a different kind of
that one.
Shoot 'em up.
Yeah, I really do like shoot 'em ups. Rive is definitely more platformy, more modern age. Like I said, this one really grabs that.
Harkens back to.
Yeah, it grabs that
arcade
formula of the old school shoot 'em up, vertical shoot 'em up. Like you've played a game like this before, most likely if you are a fan of shoot 'em up, you definitely played a game similar to this. But I think the skill tree and all the other little things it does sort of helps separate it from that, and sort of brings it to a more present day feel, while like you said, harkening back to the old days.
Cool. Well, before we get into Resident Evil Revelations collection discussion, we are going to veer in the absolute complete opposite direction. It's just kind of like the It'll Doom. Yeah, kind of like that. But we're going to first talk about a game that should be talked about, and that is Snipperclips Plus.
Ooh-wee.
Yeah, I did the review for the site, and basically, I'm not going to talk too much about it, because really what it is it's more of what you love. It's exactly what you'd hope. It's more content. There's 2 new worlds. There was 3 originally, and then there's 2 more. So, let's see how much.
That's 66% more.
66%. There you go. 0.6. 66.6.
Yeah, don't skimp.
Yeah. And then there's also the Blitz mode, but they added 3 new game modes to that, which is cool, which doubled the game modes for that. And the Blitz mode is where it's like a 4-player battle royale type thing right now, where you can snip each other during it, and that's part of the strategy. But there's different kinds of games. Like I think there's basketball, right, and I think hockey and something. But the new ones, there is a turf war type game, just like Splatoon.
Oh, that
where
interesting.
Yeah, like you're painting the area, and then whoever has the most when the timer's done wins. And you can also, remember, a big part of it is you can cut into the other players to make them smaller. So, if you're really big and they're small at the very end, it's like, you're going to totally win. So, yeah, so that I really like that game. One of them is, I think they call it Keep Away, but it's weird because Jill and I, we were trying to figure out what the point of it. There's no instructions. We're like, what is the deal with this thing? But basically, it's the first team to drop. There's like 3 balls that they have that, like, once one of them drops, then another one comes, and so the first one to like lose all of their balls will lose basically. So once those are out,
interesting.
So it's like they're holding them on top of their head, and so you're trying to like knock other people's off while retaining yours,
Mm-hmm.
and you get 3. So I think that's way better for 4 players. It makes a lot more sense than just 2, but it was still pretty fun. Like, it was kind of wet. Like, like you throw it up in the air and then you go and tackle them and then try to go back and grab your ball as it's dropping, so it's funny. It's good. And then the last one is this like bug catching, where you're trying to grab bugs and scoop them into your bottle at the bottom of the screen.
Like catching lightning bugs?
Yeah, exactly. Just like that. Playing with 4 people is great because, you can cut into each other to make scoops and then try to grab it and push. And then also you can have people working offensively trying to go to the other players, and you can actually grab them out of the other people's bottle. Because it's like the way it works is like when they get, like, there's small flies and there's medium and big, and the big ones are worth like 3 and the small ones are worth like 1 point. So whenever they hit, like, I think like 5 or 6 or 8 points or something like that, then they win the round. So before they get that amount of points, you can go and grab them out of there and stuff like that. So lots of fun, quick little fun games that just, a good complementary games to the main Snipperclips game.
Yeah, yeah, it might not be something you're gonna play hours for on end, but always fun to, like you said, especially, we played a couple of those when we're in PAX together, with Jill and Kate. So some of those four-player games, like you said, like maybe not quite as much fun when there's only 2, but when you get to that 4-player sort of craziness going on,
it can get very wacky.
Yeah, it's sort of when that's where it really shines,
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually downloaded the DLC just the other day. We have not actually gotten to play with it just because been so busy lately. But hopefully sometime this week, probably start diving into that.
Yeah. It's worth it. It's a lot of the puzzle design's really great, but everyone knows about Snipperclips, but people don't know about Resident Evil Revelations. That hasn't been released for a Nintendo console, has it? Oh, well, wait, yeah, it has.
Yeah, it only originated on one, you Jimbo.
Yeah, but let's talk about both Resident Evil Revelations and Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Yes, sir. Now, I think it only makes sense to talk about Revelations 1 first. I mean...
I thought you were going to say 2 first.
Yeah. Yeah,
That makes sense.
Forget that 1. I mean, I played Resident Evil Revelations on my 3DS back...
Me too.
I forget when...
2012.
I must have gotten in, I'm trying to think, 2014? Because I remember I got it from Capcom. It was on sale for $20 physical. And I picked that up. And then I remember I was like, well, I only paid $20 for this, so I'm going to use that other $20 to import the Circle Pad Pro to play it proper. And, yeah, so I actually played that sucker with, popped my huge 3DS into my huge
That's awesome.
3DS.
Into the boat?
Yeah, it's awesome. It feels good, actually.
See, yeah, I use the new 3DS XL, the nub.
See, yeah, I think that I played that game before the new came out, so we did not have.
Oh yeah, yeah, and it'd be way better with Circle Pad Pro.
Well, I'm glad to hear that it supported the nub.
Yeah. All the nub does all the
Circle Pad stuff.
Circle Pad Pro. Yep. But I remember literally during the bosses when I played it on 3DS, I had to grab a paper towel and wrap it up and put it on my thumb because the grip wouldn't work.
Yeah.
It is awful. Very bad. I don't know why they didn't just put a tiny little circle pad. Maybe because it's too delicate or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
But,
weird.
But yeah, I played it on 3DS as well. It was like, Capcom's had it on sale for down to $5.
They're practically giving it away.
Yeah. So, yeah, I really liked it. I mean, I really haven't played... I think that's really the only Resident Evil game that I've, completed.
Interesting.
I haven't really been into Resident Evil games. I've definitely played them,
yeah, but never seen them all the way through.
I've played Resident Evil 4, but not, from start to finish,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I really want to play that. I hope that comes to Switch. That's a good game.
Honestly, you should pick it up on the Switch. That'd be nice. You can pick it up on the Wii and the motion.
I have it on the Wii.
Oh, I was gonna say the motion controls actually work pretty well with that.
Oh yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's one of the things that they added in the Switch version is motion controls, and it's funny because both in our reviews, you said you didn't like it. I said I liked it. Now, I only liked it when I was playing in handheld mode because it feels like Breath of the Wild. It feels like that sort of extra aiming. It's definitely what it's designed for, is what I realized. Because when you're playing with the Joy-Cons, not attached, I did not like it at all.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe when it's in a handheld, they almost act more like gyros than actually pointer controls. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, because when I was when I played motion controls, I played with the Joy-Cons detached, one in each hand, and at first I'm like, okay, let me see here, and my aimer or crosshair or whatever you want to call it, there was sort of all over the place, and I'm like, all right, let me just really sit hold it very still and see if I could get this, and it would continue to, even though I wasn't really moving the controller it was still all over the place and led to a lot of missed fire. So
yeah, I felt the at least in Revelations, the first one, I haven't played 2 yet, the vertical worked really well, but going left to right didn't. It didn't register very well when doing it like you just said. But yeah, it's weird. But when playing in handheld, very cool for me. Now, the other mode that I never tried originally on the 3DS is the raid mode. This caught me completely off, by surprise. It's so fun and it's so cool. It's a great idea.
Yeah, I was actually surprised because I had not really, I don't think I played it at all on Revelations 1 back 3DS. In the day. Yeah.
Well, you had to unlock it. You had to beat the game.
So
and
that
then it unlocked.
so that was
which
probably
is so
it,
weird.
because then I probably beat the game and was just sort of like, well, I'm done,
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, no, when I played some raid mode here, I mean, I don't know how different they are. I'm pretty sure I read that the raid mode was expanded quite a bit from 1 to 2. Because I guess we're just sort of talking about both all at the same time here. With Revelations
Yeah.
2, as far as the story and gameplay mode go, I know in Revelations 1 it was sort of like, okay, you're on the ship, and it's very classic feel. You're going to be more stealth and sneaking around, more survival, and then you'd be on those the other parts where it'd be more run and gun. You're just going to be mowing down enemies. You know what I mean?
yeah. It really felt like I mentioned it. It felt like an arcade shooter, like where you're just kind of leading down a path and shooting stuff. And
Yeah. Now, where in Revelations 2, the entire story feels much more survival. It still skews to quite a bit of action. So, it's you're not going to be like running out of ammo every 2 seconds. That's not to say that you could just literally pump all of your bullets into all enemies and there'll always be ammo to find. But as long as you're sort of being smart with your ammo, I never really ran into an issue. You know what I mean? I tried to be stealthy when I could. Like, there were some enemies that you'd sneak up behind and that you'd be able to one-shot hit them with a nice stealth attack, where if you were using ammo on them, you'd have to pump them with quite a bit of bullets to get them to expose their weak point to actually be able to kill them. So, trying to do stuff like that to conserve your ammo, I guess, sort of helped me never really run into the issue of running out of ammo. But so the main gameplay for all of the chapters is very similar. It doesn't have that very contradicting two different styles in one campaign. So the more run and gun arcadey feel is limited to the raid mode. So it's nice that they sort of expanded the raid mode to be like, if you really like those sections of just running, gunning, mowing enemies down, and you just love the action element of it, then raid mode is going to be perfect for you. And you can sink tens, if not hundreds of hours into raid mode if it hooked you. You know what I mean? It's definitely one of those things that...
Yeah, like there's a progression system that's huge.
Yeah, and levels up, tons of... there's a ton to do in that mode.
Did you use your amiibo?
No.
Oh my goodness, dude. Okay, so you can use amiibo to unlock BP. And, okay, for instance, you probably play a mission 4 or 5 minutes and you get, like, what? I can't even tell. Like, maybe 1,000 or 1,500 BP, something like that. Something in there. Well, you can scan amiibo and you can get anywhere from 1,000 to like 8,000 BP every day. Every amiibo you have. So I'm sitting there like, like I put through all of mine.
I'm gonna be BP rich.
I have 150,000 BP. It was great. It's fantastic. And I was like, this just feels right. Now,
finally, the amiibo are worth something.
Yeah, finally I can use my Duck Hunt amiibo. But yeah, I thought that was well, that's a fun little idea. I wish that all games did something like that. Now that's just kind of giving you stuff, but a little extra thing. It's just kind of cute, So.
Now, how did you like the story of Revelations 1, and also how did you like the bouncing between the two different styles of gameplay, or is there one that you preferred and you wish the whole game skewed to a little bit more, or did you sort of like how it gave you a little bit of best of both worlds?
Okay, well, I liked the general story of Revelations. I think the idea of there was this was it an island? Maybe it was an island, but it was a place where something bad happened and all these creatures got out, like were made, and then it was like attacked. That's what it was. It was attacked like a chemical attack, and then all these creatures, people mutated and stuff, and then so they did like a solar bomb type thing and just burned everything on the island, but then there's still some things that's still there, and just like a whole terrorist group attack, and I think it's a pretty fun little story. Like the script is so like cheesy. Like it's so like
I think that's sort of like the entirety of
Its
Resident
thing.
Evil. Yeah, is like
Right,
it's such
right,
like
and I get that.
a gritty, real. I feel like they go for all right. The characters are believable, and then it's like the lines are so cheesy between them. It's like
Well, it's just yeah, like at the beginning, when you play as, like you said, on there's a different part where you play as Chris, Redfield, and you're walking through, and he's with his partner, and his partner's going, "So do you like me more than your other partner?" Or it's
yeah, and it's like oh,
like what, like in between shooting zombie wolves, like it's just it's ridiculous.
I got bigger fish to fry right now.
And then like you meet this guy, and he's being super dramatic, and it's like, why are you acting like this? And he says stuff like, I saved it. Nothing will change unless you get your hands dirty.
Yeah,
that kind of
that sounds very Resident Evil to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
and then like the little diaries you find are so cheesy, but they're pretty great. Like it shows people like that are going insane, and then that are mutating and stuff.
Yeah, and then like the last page is like, I'm hungry, brains.
Yeah.
It's like I appreciate that even despite like more mutating into some sort of mutant, he was still able to write down his last thoughts.
Yeah, I know. And, like there's one that says, like, this monster was bad. I knew this mission would suck from the moment I took it. My head feels like it's going to split open. I lost an eye already. It's hard to see. I feel like crap. Arms are starting to feel weird too. This is really from the game. Brains, brains.
Yeah, those are present in Revelations 2 as well.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
That good.
So pretty much the story with Revelations 2 is that it starts open with Claire Redfield, and you're at this TerraSave party, which is sort of like an anti-terrorist, biological terrorist group or whatever. And you're there with Moira Burton, which is Barry Burton's daughter. And these people break in and they kidnap you two. And you sort of wake up and you're like, what is going on here? You've got this bracelet on your wrist, and like you're in like a cell, and all of a sudden the door opens and you go out, and then you find Moira. And then all of a sudden you find out there's an overseer who's watching your every moves and monitoring your like how scared you are with that bracelet and stuff. And so you're pretty much like, okay, we need to get out of here. And you find out you're on an island, right? And she's obviously they're like injecting you with one of the viruses and just seeing how it works. And they've got all these like traps and set up for you here, and you're trying to escape, and then you're sort of learning about who the overseer is. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil any of that, and it's not like the most revolutionary story, but I felt like it was interesting enough, and it kept it going.
I mean, it's classic and tried and true type thing.
Yep, and the way way Revelations 2 works is it was released episodically. So you've got 4 episodes. Obviously, all 4 in this collection for the Switch are just available to you right away. And in each chapter, you start with Claire and Moira, and then you do your spiel, and then you take control of Barry Burton, which is the first time he's been playable actually in the franchise. So that's pretty cool. Because who doesn't love Big Barry? And then he meets this little girl, Natalia. I forget exactly.
Yeah, probably Natalia.
And you're like, okay, what is this little girl doing on this island? And it's similar areas, and as you were going through with the earlier parties, so it's sort of cool to see how that plays together. Now,
no spoilers.
Yes, I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay, good.
But now let me tell you what is my biggest gripe with the game, and that is just the partners in general. It's like, Resident Evil games, you're supposed to be alone and isolated and scared and trying to figure these things out. And I think when you have a partner, it just sort of dampens that
Totally.
how scary
That's
it
a big-
is. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So it's like,
That happens a lot in the first one. You're kind of always with someone. I mean, you split off a bunch, but
yeah. See, this one you don't really. I mean, there are definitely times when you split away a little bit and like you can be like, hey, stay over here because I got to go do something over here. But it's
just stay over here. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Would you shut up?
stay at the beginning of the game and let me go play the rest of it by myself. Now, okay, so not only is it annoying to have a second character there, because like I said, it just provides a level of comfort that I don't want in a Resident Evil game. I want to feel uneasy going into these areas.
I don't want to be comfortable.
But what's more annoying is that you are forced to change between these characters. And, there are certain points where, like, when you are with Barry's side of the story, like, obviously Natalie's a little tiny girl, so, like, there'll be openings in the wall that, she could sort of slip through and go, find a way to open the door while Barry waits. And I think that's a solid implementation. But with Moira, she's got a crowbar, so it's like there's like, that door needs to be pried open, and it's like I wish I could be like, okay, great, go do it, But it's like, I got to switch to her, run to the door, hit the button to open it, and then switch back and protect her. And it doesn't sound like, okay, like, all right, you got to switch characters real quick, but there's quite a bit of switching that just it would feel so much easier if I could just say, hey, go do that. Now now, honestly though, like those were minor. Now, what really, really is infuriating.
Oh man, there's more.
Yes. So, God, this is like the stupidest thing of all time. Okay, so obviously, as you're going through, like you see those little sparkle of an item, right? And you can go over and pick it up.
Yeah.
In this game, you see that sparkle, and then I can't pick it up as Claire. I need to switch to Moira and have her shine the flashlight on it. And then it gives you like the lamest little jingle. And like, and then you can go pick it up. But it's like, I saw it with Claire. Why can't I literally have to go flash the flashlight on there. Now, in Barry's side of the story, he has a flashlight on him. So I'm like, okay, well, at least maybe, just maybe, I won't need to switch characters. But no.
And
I need to switch to this little girl, and she literally points at it with her finger. And then you hear the little jingle, and then you can go pick it up. And it's just like...
Wait. I mean, just like anything?
No, like, there are obviously, like, if you see, like an herb or ammo, no, you could pick that up. It's when there's, like, a little glimmer, like of a more hidden item, you know what I mean? Like,
Gotcha.
It's on the floor by the bookshelf in the corner.
Is there a scanner in this one?
No.
Okay. See, I kind of like the scanner in the first one. Like Metroid Prime, you kind of search the level, find hidden objects, stuff that can, like ammo and stuff like that. I like.
No, I mean, I like finding stuff like that, and yeah, no, I think the scanner was a better way to do it, but
than pointing a flashlight or just pointing.
I swear, dude, I'll show you some video later of the little girl just pointing at this item. It's like, oh my god. But
I can't wait.
But yeah, I mean, that's my biggest gripe of the game. But otherwise, I mean, Revelations 2, it looks gorgeous. The environments are, they're just unbelievable. Some of the areas you go into, they're just so gruesome and grimy and disgusting, and there's bodies hanging, and it's just so eerie that it really helps set the mood to just like, man, this game is weird, it's scary.
Right.
And then
it's Japanese weird, like Japanese horror, which is just different. Like I was just playing, like, you're in the depths of a cruise ship, and you go into this room, and you look over, and there's a washing machine going, but you can you can just see in the window that it's just blood, like circling around in the washing machine, just for no reason, like just to be scary.
Oh, yeah.
It's just funny,
I mean,
so.
I'm not gonna spoil any of the locations, but
Yeah.
there are just definitely some spots where I go, like, And what I think was one of the coolest feelings I had was when I'd be outside in like a relatively open and an area you sort of felt safe in, you know? It's like, okay, I'm out here.
Uh-huh.
I'm sort of like by a beach. Like, yeah, it's a little creepy out here, but I feel safe. And then it's like, all right, I need to go in that building. And then you sort of climb down a few flights of stairs, and then you're just in like, it's like, oh my God. It's like, I'm trapped in this tight little area, and there's blood and just horrible things going on all over the place. And it's just like, it was sort of cool to capture. Like, literally 30 seconds ago, I felt like I was in a spot where I was okay. And now I feel like I am absolutely in a world of trouble.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, overall, Revelations 2, to me, I really like the older style Resident Evils, 1 and 2 especially. 4 is great, but it's, like, I love 4, but it's not really a Resident Evil game. It's much more action game. I think Revelations 2 has a very nice balance of, action with sort of survival horror and some light puzzle elements that it just sort of hits the nail on the head for me. Maybe I would have liked it a little more survival horror-ish. You know what I mean? If I could be nitpicky, but I really think it hits a nice balance between the two.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what's the main setting for the game? Sorry if I missed that.
It's that island. So, like, you wake up on, like I said, you wake up on this island, and you sort of need to discover, like, everything. And then, Barry is looking for his daughter, so that's why he goes to the island, and that's when he meets the little girl. So, it's all taking place on this island.
Yeah, I really dig the aesthetic of the original. Like, I love the haunted, not haunted, but the zombie cruise ship and it's cool because you can actually find out more about the ship, like if you explore and like look at documents and stuff, and how it was like originally like made in the early 1900s, and then the terrorist group took it and updated and completely upgraded everything to make it modern, but it still has like all that like freaky like turn of the century design, in it. I think that I like that. So
no,
it can create some creepy stuff.
I think the idea of being stuck on this, infested cruise ship in the middle of the ocean is just really eerie too, because it's like
it's awesome.
Like where the island, like I said, I had those spots where I was out by a bluff or by the beach where you're like, okay, like there's a town over there, and there's probably some bad stuff going on in there, but like right here I feel like I'm all right. Where on that cruise boat you really never felt safe, because even if you were in a spot that was relatively open, all of a sudden enemies could come, and it's like, realistically it's like you're on a boat. Where the hell are you gonna go?
Right. Yeah. So really claustrophobic, which I really think is fun. And yeah, but man, if those Resident Evil, it could just be so cheesy and so Japanese cheesy, and I like it a lot. I don't know if it's the same in the second one.
No, like I said, I think that's sort of present through all. And that's what it sort of keeps it lighthearted, where like most of the game is sort of gruesome and more on a serious tone, where like, and like I said, I don't know if they necessarily meant to be cheesy in the earlier games, and then it just came off as so cheesy just because, voice acting back in 1996 was probably just the people in the office going like, yeah, sure, I'll talk for the game into a microphone,
Oh no!
With zero context, you know what I mean, between conversations, yeah. But no, I really liked Revelations 2, and I look forward to playing some raid mode online with you.
Yes. And I really enjoyed Revelations, playing through it again. Looks great on Switch. I like the little upgrades they did, and it's just a great port. I didn't have any issues with it. And online, I played with people, and I made like a little lobby type thing, and within a minute, I got someone coming in, and this was before launch, so. And we played, and I had no issues.
Yeah, when I tried to play online, we either... I'm guessing the servers were up, because it did let me try to find someone, but I never got anyone to join, so I don't know if that was just due to Just
It's just probably
not enough players going on. So that's going to be definitely something we go back and check out for.
It'll be great, but I mean, it worked really well, and it's like one of the, it's like what? There's a multiplayer game like add-on that you can play online with people, and you can play locally, like local wireless, which is so cool. So I think it's really, I mean, for $20, if you were to buy separately, like that's a really good deal. So
no, good stuff.
I love totally. The only thing that sucks, which I think we should talk about, is how stupid is it that you have to download Resident Evil 2 or the Revelations 2, which is like how many gigs?
Revelations 2.
Wasn't it something like 26 gigs or something like that?
I think so, yeah, because I think I remember I was like, oh, maybe it's going to be like 8 or 9, but yeah, let's see. Revelations 1 is 13 gigabytes of space, which obviously if you pick it up physical, that sort of gets rid of that. But yeah, Revelations 2 is download only, and that is 26 gigs, so that is quite a bit.
Yeah, so why didn't they make the second one?
I wonder if
the physical game.
If 26 gigs on one of those carts might not, you know what I mean? I don't know what the file size is.
Yeah.
Because even like what game was it that was? I think Doom, right? It's like you can buy it physical, but for the multiplayer online aspect of it, you need to download quite a bit more gigs. So I'm thinking that maybe it's just either it was like you need to pay more for a bigger card and Capcom didn't want to do that, or whatever the deal is. But
probably. Yep.
Let me tell you, if you have an SD card, it's worth the 26 gigs.
Cool. And you can always just, if you don't want it, just delete it, and then you can download it whenever you want. It doesn't take long to. It'll only take David Lloyd 4 or 5 days to download that.
Yeah, maybe by Christmas.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, I think that's going to bring us to the end of what we've been playing, but I am going to give us a little tease for for a giveaway that is very relatable to what we were just talking about. And
we're going to give away some Snipperclips DLC codes.
I wish, man. That'd be great, actually.
Not
but
really.
We got something better.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But you're going to have
What's
to
that?
you're going to have to wait till after the old eShop and news block to find out exactly what it is.
All right, well, let's take a little break. And then when we come back, you can tell us.
Alrighty, we are back, and it is time for the old eShop Roundup.
Yeehaw! Finally. Only 11 games.
Yeah, I looked at the list, and I'm like, oh, wow. Is it finally I don't want to say a lull of a week, but a normal week opposed to just being bombarded, but nope. Not again.
No. Yeah, but man, 11 games. The first one being it wouldn't be a week.
Would not be a week if it wasn't for the old Neo Geo, baby.
This ain't no shoot 'em up. This ain't no fighting game.
Then I don't want to hear it.
It's the other one.
Oh, it must be a sports game.
Yep. Soccer Brawl. This one looks pretty fun, actually.
I love the name.
Yeah. Maybe it is a fighting game, like I said.
I was going to say, maybe it's the predecessor to Mario Strikers. Slam people into the walls and stuff.
Yeah. Rocket League.
Yeah, it actually looks pretty cool.
It does.
I don't know if they're supposed to, but they look like robots.
Yeah.
Just kicking the crap out of each other.
It says punch, kick, anything goes. The battling soccer of the 21st century begins now.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh,
and
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
I'm not getting Pepsi.
Then I don't want it.
Hey, Staged in the near future, teams feature 7 robot players instead of the normal 11 players.
Well, I'm glad to hear that they nailed the aesthetic then, because that's exactly what they look like.
Yep. Now, that was $7.99, and this next one is also $7.99, but
It's not a Neo Geo game.
yeah, what do they think? They can't charge that.
Yeah.
But what's the game?
This is Transcripted, a unique mix of twin stick shooter and match 3.
Yeah, it looks pretty fun. It looks kind of cool. It reminds me of that Neo. What was that game called? The little fighter shooter thing. That.
Graceful explosion machine.
Nano Assault.
Oh,
Nano
okay.
Assault.
Yep.
Yes, it kind of just reminds me of that a little bit, but like the aesthetic a little.
Yeah, it looks interesting actually.
Yeah, it does. Like you said, I guess you're trying to shoot and maybe
match up some threes.
Yeah, I'm trying to read here. 25 core campaign missions and 5 challenge levels for scoring competitions. So looks cool. If that sounds up your alley, it looks like a really nice looking game.
Yeah, definitely worth keeping an eye out for. Now, this next game, I believe I've never played it, but I know it's pretty popular, and that is Letter Quest Remastered for $14.99 on the old Nintendo Switch.
Now, you say this is pretty popular?
I feel like I've heard this name quite a bit.
Okay.
Maybe it's just one or two people I'm following on Twitter or something that talk about it. But I feel like I've seen this name crop up quite a bit. I don't really know too much about it.
Yeah, I've read some good reviews on it, and apparently it's pretty dang fun.
Spell words to battle monsters and earn gems that can be used to purchase upgrades, books, special items, potions, and much more. Letter Quest is a turn-based RPG featuring high-res artwork, clever wordplay, and 2 great soundtracks. All right. Well,
there you go. It's kind of like Scrabble RPG.
See, it's funny. I wonder that might be right up Caitlin's alley. She likes those word games.
Totally.
That nerd.
Well, speaking of nerds, Stick It to the Man, baby.
Wait.
Stick It to the Man is out. We talked about it a bunch. I believe it's $14.99.
Yep.
Yeah, check it out.
Stick it to the man.
It's a spaghetti hand that comes out of a guy's head that can read other people's minds. Pretty great.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Next up, we've got Mantis Burn Racing for $19.99. Now, this is a modern top-down style racing game that combines physics-based gameplay with intuitive arcade racing and highly competitive, fast, and addictive racing.
I tell you what,
looks gorgeous.
It does. You see that mountain snowy?
Oh, that's the one that caught my eye.
Man, that one looks like a photo.
And like, look, as you can see in that picture too, it looks like you could blow up your fellow racers.
Yeah.
It looks interesting.
It does.
Pretty cool. Even like the some of the darker stages.
I mean, look how small your vehicle is, you know?
Yeah. And look, you could play split screen tabletop mode with the Joy-Cons.
Yeah, I like that picture.
No, that actually looks pretty
cool.
Fun.
Yeah. Yeah, now that's $19.99. I believe, do we have a review on the site for that?
I don't know. I don't think so. Which is a shame because it looks pretty cool.
Yes, we do. No, we have a preview. That's what it was. I knew we had a preview. Jared Rosenberg has a preview up on the site. So.
Oh, dude, I tell you what. I had the opportunity to potentially go see that game in New York City. They had like a preview event, but
why didn't you, Jimmy?
I was again stuck at stupid old work. Dang old sons of guns ruining my day. But no, that game looks rad.
It's okay, totally.
Might have to check that out.
Yeah. Now, a game that we have talked about on the show.
It's a game I've reviewed.
I'd like to play. Yeah, Kid Trip from 4 Horses. Speaking of 4 horses, it's $3.99. It'll cost you 4 horses. That is, if each horse is worth $1.
I don't know. You think they're worth that much?
Maybe. But yeah, man, it's very nice, big, chunky pixels.
Yeah, it's pretty fun little game. The only thing is, it won't last you very long. But the good news is, it's only $3.99. So it's one of those games that, if you've got an hour or two to kill one night and you want to check out like a cool little runner, it's actually pretty fun.
Totally, and it looks cool. Like it.
Yeah, no, like I said, like you said, big chunky pixel art, and like the enemy designs are cute and no, I like that game a lot. Like I said, it's not gonna you're definitely not gonna play it for very long, but I enjoyed it while it lasted.
Right. Now this next game, Portal Knights. This is for $29.99. Interestingly enough, this looks like a pretty epic game. It's a big cooperative 3D sandbox action RPG, and it kind of looks like little Minecraft. Yeah, but with character and
the characters aren't blocky like Minecraft, but the environments, like the buildings, are, and it looks sort of interesting.
It sure does.
I mean, again, the Minecraft kind of game really isn't my jam, per se.
Right.
But this one looks like it might be, like you said, a little more reliant on actual characters in your party, opposed to just like...
I mean, yeah. It says, craft your adventure, forge your hero, become the ultimate Portal Knight. So, craft your adventure, so I guess you probably are doing Minecrafty stuff, So... That's cool.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense that... at this point, people are going to try and capitalize on Minecraft's success by sort of aping off what they do,
Yeah. Well, next up, we have Worms WMD. And this is from Team 17.
Team 17.
Yeah, this is $30, $29.99. My friend Aaron actually has this, and I've seen it being played. Looks really fun. There's a lot going on in this game. Lots of different challenges. Looks great, as you can see from the screenshots. Kind of like Rayman Legend Z, like kind of like that.
Yeah, that art style.
Yeah, but it looks great when you're playing it too, and kind of like SteamWorld Heist. It's kind of like sometimes it's weird because sometimes it's actiony and sometimes it is turn-based. But yeah, I would say it's like SteamWorld Heist little. So hand drawn, looks cool.
And we've actually got a little bit of news with this game, but we'll save that to the news block, which we'll be getting to in just a minute. We also have Crimson Land for $12.99 that just came out. Now,
these are from our boys, 10 Tons.
The old 10 Ton. Now, this is like another twin-stick shooter, right? Like more of
it's the same engine.
It's so funny. I feel like I played the worst of the 10 Ton games.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but like you said, they're out going to update it, which I'm very interested in because I'll probably jump in when it's updated. Yeah. But yeah, I know you did. Neon Chrome is amazing. Time Recoil is really fun. And this game, I think, is their first one. And so it kind of looks more generic, like a normal shoot 'em up. But there's still a bunch of perks you can get and different weapons and and like the totally
a couple different modes
like,
too, right? I believe it looks 6 different survival modes up to 4 players. I believe Justin Nation said
that cover's pretty sweet,
pretty fun.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, it's sort of
1 to 4 players.
Oh, dude, that's so Doom. That's so funny.
I know. Yeah. Yep. Well, last but not least, we have Resident Evil Revelations and Resident Evil Revelations 2.
Dos Equis.
Yeah, games that both $19.99, or you can buy them physically as well for $39.99.
One penny more.
That's true. Technically,
it's a ripoff. I tell you,
it is a ripoff because you don't even get them physically.
Well, you get one.
It would be so
You'll get
sweet.
one physically.
How sweet if you could buy the collection, but it had 2 cartridges.
Dude, that would be awesome. I'd love that. But
actually, what would be even better is if there was just 2 separate ones and they were both $19.99.
I'll get 2 big old beautiful cases for the bookshelf.
Yep.
You sucker.
But I would totally do that. But
no, me too.
Yeah, that's it though. for the eShop Roundup, which is crazy because
A light week.
now, yeah, but now, yeah,
But not
real
really.
quick.
Still, I mean, there's still a pretty couple of heavy hitter games in there that you're gonna definitely want to check out.
Yeah, real quick though, I do want to say that the Mario Rabbids Gold Edition is 25% off, and it's $59.99. Now, I think this is something that bothers me a lot, and it's the fact of getting a season pass is worthless. It makes me feel, why would I buy a season pass when they discount that in the future? Like, what are you rewarding the players who buy it first? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
I don't get it, because this is now it's like it's $20 off, so it's the price of the season pass or something like that. I don't know I don't know exactly what the gold edition is exactly, but
I think
it's
literally just the DLC season pass is included. So like you said, when it's 25% off, it's like you're pretty much just getting that for free. I did see over the weekend, and of course with Black Friday and Cyber Monday and all that crap, there were going to be good deals all around. I think I saw it for $30 at some point. So, I guess, but that's sort of the thing. Is early adapters are always going to technically get the short end of the stick with things like this.
Well, that's so stupid, though. Like I just.
But that's everything. Like you said with with your Xbox and PS4 games, you never buy them on launch because you know for a fact that they're going to be reduced in price. Now,
but that's bad though.
No, I know, but that's the thing is with Nintendo, we're not used to that, right? So to see Ubisoft do it, it's like, oh, it makes sense that like they're used to doing sales on their games after they release, and like they already got the people, obviously the hardcore people who wanted to pick it up day one or week one or first month. And now they're trying to get those people that were on the fence, and you add that little bit of extra value proposition, and you get those people who were maybe on the fence to bite. And you know what? We got to. Well, you didn't buy the game, you turd. No. we who bought it early got to experience it early. So it's.
Yeah.
I feel like that always happens, and we're just not so used to it because Nintendo games generally, or at least Nintendo published games generally, don't lose their value.
Right. Well, I think it's time
for some milk.
Yeah, you know what I've been hooked on this week? My cousin
milk?
got me hooked on. Huh?
Ice milk?
Iced coffee.
Have you never really
my cousin
had
showed me
iced coffee?
I've had iced coffee, and I like it. It's just always like sweetened stuff, like from like McDonald's or something. It's good. It's just that, I just don't have sugary stuff a lot. So, but without just if you take coffee, brew a nice pot of coffee, then put it over ice, and then add a little cream. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
That's where it's at, buddy. That's where it's at.
Yeah, that's Caitlin. I drink the hot coffee mostly, and then I'll always make a little extra, and we throw it in a pitcher, and she'll take that with her.
There you go.
I really like it, obviously, when it's hot out, because I hate drinking when it's 80, 90 degrees out, and you're drinking a hot coffee, and then you're just your whole body gets not sweaty, but just hot. And you're
hot.
Oh,
just radiates heat.
So that iced coffee is very refreshing, but.
Giddy up. And let's go get some at the YouTube Saloon.
Alrighty, the old Saloon. We've got a couple things on deck for you, as we do every week. The mini play was yours this week. You played a game we just talked about, actually.
Uurnog. Yeah, if you wanted to see kind of how it works, how it plays, there's a perfect thing right there. A mini play for you.
Yeah, no, that's... sounds like a good little game to check out. I haven't watched it yet, but I will, because, like I said, that game is interesting enough where I want to see more,
Yeah, exactly. But what else do we got?
Well, next up we have our challenge, and this week it's back to the 200cc race and this time around we did mushrooms only, which I don't know if it was a good idea, a bad idea, but it definitely
mushrooms only on a 200cc sounds fabulous.
Yeah, it definitely made for some interesting races between the two of us.
Yep. Check that out at our YouTube page. That's Talk Nintendo. Boom.
Or you could just check the description right here on your podcast services. Now, it is time for
News Talk with Casey Gibson.
That's right, and I'm going to start off with some unfortunate news. For the first time in 62 episodes, we do not have a hearty helping of news for you. It's a light week, just a few stories to touch on. I'm sorry for all.
Lite.
It's light, son.
Yep.
All right, so some news that came out today, and I think welcomed news, but honestly, it might be a little too late. And that is Yooka-Laylee is finally releasing for the Switch on December 14th. That's just about 2 weeks away from recording, maybe a tiny bit longer. And yeah, I mean, do you think there's going to still be excitement for this game?
I think so. Sure, yeah. I'm interested in this game. I think a lot of people have been waiting for the Switch version. Like, seriously, a lot. So I think it has potential. You know what?
When I first saw the tweets coming around, I was like, nah. It's like I think I'm over it. Like I heard, it released with mediocre reviews. You know what I mean? Not bad by any stretch of the imagination,
good reviews,
but just like
fantastic.
Yeah, it didn't it didn't knock the doors off anywhere. But
right.
Then I watched like the little 20 or 30-second clip with the tweet, and I'm like, it does look so charming and nostalgic. So I think that might be a game, might be looking at a Christmas purchase, Christmas gift, if you will. But yeah, I definitely cooled off since its initial, announcement and release. But yeah,
totally.
Now this next little bit of news, if you'd like to take, this is what I sort of hinted to a little bit earlier.
Yeah, Overcooked and Worms WMD are getting physical releases.
Woo! Yay!
That's awesome. So, who's bringing them? Is this limited run?
No, this is they're actually teaming up with Team 17 to they'll be publishing the two physical copies.
Cool. Well, man, I'm all perfect because I want to get Worms because that game looks great. So, and I want to get Overcooked. Like, I'm glad I waited.
Yep.
Instead of like you Jimmy.
Yep. Well, you're going to have to wait a little bit longer. They didn't give a hard release date or really even much of a release.
I don't have any games to play now, though.
What am I going to do?
Yeah.
You'll have to wait till 2018 for that release. Like I said, they didn't really narrow down if it's anywhere else. But
I will be waiting, and that's cool. Now, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, the thing that we haven't really talked about.
Yeah,
we haven't really talked about it too much here.
I haven't really played it, to be honest, that much.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in playing it. I'm sorry, but I just want my main Animal Crossing game.
Yeah, you know what it is? I think it's just sort of like a perfect storm of things that are sort of preventing me from really wanting to actually dive into it. So for me,
most of it because you have a bunch of real games to play.
Yeah, first and foremost, well, that's sort of it. This game would be perfect for me at work, right? I work at a desk, I could keep my phone on the desk. It would be a game I could easily play while working and sort of keep me occupied. But the problem is my desk is the worst spot for service. There's no Wi-Fi, so I can't really play at my desk. And then, like you said, when I'm at home, I've got too many other games and things going on to even bother wanting to pick it up. I played maybe 20 minutes, a half hour one day, and just sort of set up my little camp, and that was sort of it. And I mean, there still might be a time where I jump in and sort of check it out, but it's not really doing it for me. But that being said, it launched very well. It surpassed 15 million downloads and officially the second largest mobile launch for Nintendo, behind Mario Run. I think Mario Run, it was at like 32 million downloads, I guess, for the launch window, which I guess is the first 6 or 7 days. So, I mean, 15 million downloads, that's a lot. I guess we'll sort of have to wait and see how people are spending, if they're spending, and how much revenue it's getting from, the microtransactions and all that stuff. But I could see it being one of those games that definitely do well with the microtransactions, If you do get hooked, I could see people spending money on this game, so. Now, this last little bit of news is just a little bit of promotion for our annual telethon over on Nintendo World Report. That is this Saturday, December 2nd, starting up around 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and will be running, if all things go according to plan, to midnight, with our panel actually happening. We're going to be doing a mystery history panel with David Lloyd.
Woo!
Yes, it's going to be good. From 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we're each going to have a game. We're going to play some mystery history. There is going to be prizes given away to the 3 people who can guess the game first. And I think it should be really exciting.
Oh, man. And there's some amazing prizes. There's this tweet going around showing all the prizes, and they look awesome. Tons of amiibo, games, stuff like that. So check that out. Casey's gonna be doing some promo streaming, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, the entire week. This entire week. Obviously, if you're listening to this podcast when it launches, which is pretty much the only way you'd be able to do that, you would have potentially missed. I know James Jones and Neil and Serene. I believe they're all streaming throughout the week, but I'll be streaming Friday, December 1st, from 8 to 10 p.m. Going to be playing some Rocket League, some Doom multiplayer, just sort of probably bounce it around. And
I want to play with you.
Yeah, you could join me. We will be playing. And what I'm going to be doing is matching up to $50 for anyone who donates during that 2-hour period and shows their little receipt that they donated. I'll be matching up to $50, which is actually, so say we get a couple people to donate $50 total. I donate $50. Then there is a actual listener to and fan of the website who matches up to $2,000 total for any
before it starts.
Yeah, for any donations before the telethon starts on Saturday. So if we can get $50 donated during my block, I'll match that with 50, and then he will match that 100 with another 100. So we can earn up to $200 on Friday night with $50 donated from you guys. So make sure to check that out. Should be pretty fun. Like I said, we're playing games. I'll have my my friend code up there, so we can get, who knows, hopefully we can get some cool 4-on-4 or 5-on-5 matches with people listening and watching the stream. Could be pretty cool.
Sounds awesome, dude. Heck yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Now, that's going to be it for the news block there. Like I said, there wasn't much this week going on. Plus, Perry's feeling a little under the weather, so we are going to be bringing the episode to a close now. But I did tease a little bit of a giveaway. It's been a hot second since we've done a good old-fashioned giveaway.
It sure has.
And this week, we will be giving away a copy of Resident Evil Revelations 2 for your North American accounts. Of course, if you are not in North America, all you need to do is make a North American account, and you can pick up the game if you are lucky enough to win.
So cool.
Yeah, it's so convenient. Now,
how are we going to do this? How can people try to win this game?
Well, it's going to be pretty simple. There's going to be 3 ways to enter, and it all is related to a tweet that will be on our Twitter feed. It will be pinned up there. It'll be a nice big image of Resident Evil 2, and what we're going to need you to do is follow us, retweet, and respond with your favorite Resident Evil game to that tweet, and each one of those will be one entry into the drawing, if you will. So you don't necessarily have to do all of those things, but if you do, you can get up to 3 ways to enter, and yeah, you could be playing a very fantastic game in Revelations 2.
Awesome. Remember, this is Resident Evil Revelations 2. It's just the second one.
But I should also note that you definitely don't need to play Revelations 1 to thoroughly enjoy Revelations 2. They do, I guess it is technically a sequel, but different characters, different environment. So definitely,
and it's Resident Evil.
Yeah.
So yeah,
pretty much all the Resident Evil games, like they're all standalone type, experiences. But obviously, you get the nice nods and references when you've played all of them or a bunch of them. So make sure to check out our Twitter at Talk Nintendo Pod. That's Talk Nintendo POD for all the details. Will be there on how to enter to win a copy of Revelations 2.
Woo!
Ooh-wee! Now,
awesome.
I think that's going to bring us to an end here because Perry reviewed himself into a sickness, and I think he needs to get that head on a pillow ASAP.
Thank you, Casey. I agree.
Alrighty, so again, make sure to check out the Twitter for the information on the giveaway, and make sure to check out the stream and the telethon this weekend. We'd really appreciate it. And on that note, we will see you next time.
Heck yeah.
Giddy up!
Giddy up. I really love my neon Joy-Cons.
Oh, your yellows?
They look so nice. Oh, yeah. My yellow ones, they look so nice.
I want those red ones so bad. I can't wait till they go on sale.
The Mario ones? Yeah, I might buy them those. Dude, there's a guy selling... They made the custom...
the clear one?
See-through red clear with the colored buttons.
Dude,
He's selling the system with it. It's like, oh, I really want to get them, but it's just kind of $360. Comes with the Mario Odyssey, I think.
Those freaking red cons. I really like the glacial, looks like a Game Boy or like an N64, like the atomic purple.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I would. Come on, Nintendo. What the heck are you waiting for?
I know.
Just do it.
They're waiting for GameCube with analog triggers.
Yeah, and then the last page is like, I'm hungry, brains.
Hey Caleb, you want to go out to my car and get under the blanket and play some fibbage?